Okay, so welcome to After Effects. This is going to be an amazing tutorial, and you're going to learn a lot of things. And I'm really excited that you are here. So, when you open up After Effects, this is what you see, and this is like the home page or the home screen, or whatever I want to call it. And let's create a new project. That's like creating a new file in After Effects. So now we have our project panel here, and everything you're going to be adding into After Effects is going to be adding into this project panel that is right around here. And this is just going to be a place to have all your files and have everything that you're working on. So as you're adding, it keeps on increasing downward. So the first way, the best way. So in After Effects, this is your project panel here. And as you keep on adding things into After Effects, you see that your project panel keep on increasing downward like this. And I like saying something, the best way to learn is to do. And today we are going to be working on three beginner-friendly tutorials that will teach you the very, very basic intro to like using After Effects and the panels and everything that you know, so I can actually know where everything is. So we're going to create a new composition now. When you're creating in After Effects, your composition is basically what you're working on. So it's basically the frame of everything you're working on. Are you going to be working on a video for social media? Are you going to be working on a video for YouTube? Are you going to be working on a video for whatever you're going to be working for? You have to first start from your composition settings. And so the first one like this, you see our composition name. So I'm going to give it first. And when you come down, next thing you're going to see is, I'm just going to go over the important one. So this is your preset window here. And your presets, you have plenty already made custom presets that After Effects gives you, so you can have like a base template to work that, okay, if everything goes wrong, these templates are going to work out well for you. So by default, you can see mine is on 1920 by 1080. For those of us that are familiar with camera frame, that is 16:9 aspect ratio, and that is 1080p. So you can also change it to 4K, 2K, 3K, whatever you want to do. And you can see this lock aspect ratio now. For example, if I increase this lock aspect ratio now, I can increase this as high as I want, and it doesn't maintain that same boundary. But if I want to maintain my aspect ratio, that's next to be 1080 like this. So no matter how much I increase it, it's still going to lock the aspect ratio at 16:9. You understand? So let's go back to our preset. We're going to use our HD 24 FPS, but I think we're just going to change the frame rate. You're either going to use 24 or 23.976. Those are the two, because normally film and videos are done in like this aspect ratio. For YouTube, actually now you can use 30 FPS. That's what I do for most of my YouTube videos. But for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm just going to be showing you guys to do it in film FPS, that is 23.976. Cool. Now we have our start time here, and we have our duration. Now duration is going to be the length of your video. So right now it's on 13. Now I can make it like 30. Now this video, when it creates this my frame for me, is going to make the video 30 seconds long. And let's click on OK. Now you can see this video now. If you look down here at your timeline, you can see everything is around 30 seconds long. So this is our timeline here, and this is our timeline, like the information that's going to be, information of everything I'm going to put on our timeline is going to show up here also. Now, at any point in time, if you don't understand anything, I would advise you to go back and watch what you don't understand, because it's not like first person to finish. It's not a sprint. You take it slowly, and over time, you're going to actually understand a lot. So first I will teach you guys how to import our files into After Effects. So I'm just going to go to our Finder or your File Explorer, whatever you're going to use, depending on if you're on Windows, Mac, I don't know what Linux uses. You can just get your footage like this and just drag it into After Effects and drop it inside here. So it's going to see, like I was saying, your project folder is just going to keep on increasing based on what you're bringing into that particular project. So I can just, let's delete this our composition first so I can show you guys something. Now, if you see this video that we have here, you can see I've deleted our composition and there's nothing inside. It doesn't create any composition. They're back to where we started from. So if I take this and drop into a timeline place like this, it's going to create a new composition on its own. And what it's going to do is that it's going to create it based on the setting of the video or picture or image that you put inside. So let's say that your image was like 12 seconds long. The composition becomes 12 seconds. As you can see, this has become 2 minutes. And let's say your your composition was like 1080p, 24 frames per second, all those kind of things. So if you check your composition settings down here, and you can do that by just left clicking down here and just clicking on composition settings, and you can see it created a composition of 1920 by 1080, 24 frames per second for 2 minutes. So that's another way you can actually use to create a composition based on a video that you are working on or based on the video that you want to use. So let's go back and create our composition, and this time I'm going to make it 10 seconds. Click on OK, and I'm going to draw my first shape. So if you want to draw your shape, you just come to your menu bar here and go to click on like this rectangle tool here, and you're just going to draw a simple rectangle anywhere you feel like on screen. Now you can see that the rectangle is looking down here, and you can see that something has been created in the middle here. Now this is what you call your anchor point, and your anchor point is very, very important because it shows you how your shape is going to move when you're trying to animate them. So when you're animating now, you have some properties that you can actually move at the same time. So if you go to this your shape layer I just created now, I open it up. If you see something like transform, I can open up transform, and you start seeing stuff: opacity, rotation, scale, position, and anchor points. Now everything that you see down here can be changed and can be moved, and the majority of them can be moved with respect to the anchor point. Now, what does that mean? Let's say you want to change the scale of your object in particular. So scale is just like size. If you're increasing the scale, you can see the scale is increasing and leaving the screen. While because it's increasing with respect to where the anchor point is. So let's say I carry the anchor point now and bring it back, like let's say to the middle of the shape like this, and I'm increasing the scale. You can see now it's increasing based on where the anchor point is. Let's do the same thing for rotation. For example, my rotation now is rotating around the anchor point, as you can see. And if I say I'm going to just bring the anchor point back here, and I'm just going to change the rotation again, is rotating around the anchor point. So your anchor points are very, 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 very important. And a lot of times you're going to need them for different kind of animations at different points in time, doing different things. But for this animation to do now like this, I think all my anchor points should be inside, like in the middle of my shape, so that I don't mistakenly change a figure and it like goes out of place. So you can do that simply by just, moving it manually, but sometimes your hand might not be accurate. The other way you can do that is by holding down Control or Command on Mac and double clicking this place. Is going to just automatically bring it back into the center for you. Very, very easy. Now back to my shape layer. So now I want to go back to like moving my shapes, because that right now that I've clicked on this anchor point button here, I can't interact anything apart from the anchor points. And to go back to like your move tool, you just have to hit the key V on your computer, and you can see everything is back to normal. So I can move this as to any place that I want. Now I want to change the color. How do I change the color? I can just come to fill here, and I can just select a new color and click on OK. I can also add a stroke if I want. Let's say I want a red stroke or something, and I can bump it up and increase it as much as I want, but I don't actually need strokes. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is, before I go further, always name your layer so that you actually know what you are actually doing. So this is like a rectangle, so you can call it rectangle. And let's say I want another rectangle. What I can do now is I can just come here and duplicate it and just move it. If you want to move it on a straight line like this, you can hold down Shift to another area like this. So it's a simple way of getting like a second rectangle. Let's say I want another rectangle, I can duplicate that also and just move it up here. Let's say somewhere like here. I've been creating rectangles a lot. So let's create a circle. So you can come up here to your rectangle tool. If you click and hold it down, you now see rectangle, rounded rectangle, ellipse, polygon, and star. And we're going to create an ellipse. So now, if you want to create an ellipse, if you are on a layer like this, and you create something like two shapes, if you're on a shape layer and you create another shape, it's going to create the shape layer inside the layer that you were on. But I don't want that. Let's create it separately. I can just click out of it. Just make sure that nothing's selected down here. Make sure nothing's highlighted like this. And I can just create a circle. To create a perfect circle, you need to hold down Shift. But if you don't create it perfectly, you can just freehand it like this. Let's create a circle like this. Let's change the color of this one also. Let's have some like visual diversity and something like this. So now, I was telling you guys about our position, like our transform properties down here, and there are shortcuts you can use to get each and every one of them. And I'm going to be using the shortcut because I want to get you guys familiar with shortcut as fast and as quick as possible. So I want to start creating my keyframes so I can create my animation really easily. And what I'm going to do is my keyframes now are going to be created from this my transform property. So keyframes basically are just telling After Effects that at this point in time I want this property to be this, or at this point in time I want this object to be here. Anyhow you want to think about it, going to work is basically the same thing. So let's say at the beginning of my timeline here, I want this my circle to be up here. Let's just bring it up here. Good. I'll put it up here. Now I'll come to my shape layer. Okay, first let's rename that circle. Now I'm coming to my circle layer here and I'm going to hit P. Now P on your keyframe is used to bring out your position property. So we have multiple like that. A is for anchor point, P is for position, T is for opacity, S is for scale, R is for rotation. So we have plenty of those things like that, and putting it in your head is very, very easy. I think the only one that doesn't follow the actual first name is going to be your opacity, that is T. But if you think about it, opacity, that's why it's T. So yeah. So let's say I want to open my position property because I say I want to just make sure that at the beginning of this my timeline here, the position of this circle is up here. So I'm going to my position property here, and you can see that there is something like a stopwatch beside the position property, and that's what we use to create our keyframes. So if I click on it now, you can see something like a diamond is being formed down here, and that is just the visual representation of having keyframe. So let's say we have not told the After Effects, okay, at this point in time, I want this circle to start here. Let's say we want to change that over time. Let's say around 1 second now. By 1 second, I want this thing to have fallen to this place here. So I'm just going to bring that down. Let's say somewhere like here. Now, what After Effects does is that After Effects fills in the middle. So as you can see, at the beginning, it's here. If I go back to like the beginning of my timeline using this my mouse, if you click your mouse here, you can move to and fro your timeline. Let's go back to the beginning of our timeline and I hit play. That is spacebar. As you can see, After Effects now has filled in the blanks for me. From the beginning here, it has filled in, okay, the user wants it to be here at the beginning and move down towards 1 second. Let's say, okay, let's say at 2 seconds now, I want it not to be here anymore. I want to move it somewhere around here. I want it to be like it hits this place. Let's say at 3 seconds, I want it to fall back to this side. Let's say here. Like this. So now if you go back and play it, you can see it goes, jumps, hits, falls, go backs, and this thing. So let's just have some fun with it. Let's say 4 seconds again, we take it back up. 5 seconds, you bring it back down here. 6 seconds, let's take it back up again. And by 7 seconds, let's just take it out of the shots like this. Now, you're going to see something. You can see that our animation is just happening. So it's very, very simple. It's a very simple animation to do. And congratulations, you have made your first animation in After Effects. I'm proud of you. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is going to tell you guys about timing. So based on how close the keyframes are together, you can actually speed up your animation or slow down your animation. What do I mean? Let's take this animation for example. So it takes 1 second for this to go from up to down here because I set it at 1 second. If I shorten the distance, let's say to somewhere like here, it falls more faster. So that is like how we actually change speed in After Effects. So let's say this is happening too fast. Let's just bring it back like this. So it's happening slower. So now I can literally control the timing of all my shots, and it's very, very important. Let's say, for example, let's say this one like this is very fast. It's not supposed to like. And it's very, very important because let's look at something like this. This shot is not supposed to be that fast because they're trying to recreate physics. The more lifelike can make animations look, the better it's going to be when you're actually going to render it and finish it out. So if you look at the bounce, I think this bounce is okay, but I think from here is too fast. So what I can do, I can just select these 3 keyframes here and I can just move them back. And like I said, it's going to increase the amount of time that it takes. Let's increase this one also. And that final one too is too fast, so I can just move down back. So if I play this back now, you can see that it's very, very unique, and it actually mimics how like a ball that has mass is going to fall in real life. So you have very, very, very simple animation that looks amazing. It looks like the ball is actually being hit on walls and going away like that. So this is just a simple showing of how After Effects actually really works. Okay, so now let's say that our animation ends here and we still have some space after animation ends. So what you can do actually is that you can actually just use this your area button here, and this just tell you After Effects, okay, stop rendering after this point, stop playing after this point. This is where I want my work area to end. So if I say I'm going to bring it to somewhere around here and I say let me play it back, you can see after this place it restarts, because anything that's after this work area side here, After Effects doesn't care about it. After Effects, it doesn't send the papa, you're on your own. So that's a way of actually like trimming your composition. Maybe you created a composition that is too big. Let's change some settings first. Let's go to my composition setting and let's say I made a composition at 30 seconds first, like the way it was before. Now you can see that between where my composition ends, that's where my this ends. So anything after that like this now, you see everything disappears. And I don't want that. I want my composition to stop after this ball goes outside like that. And what I can do is I can just trim down my composition area like this. So no matter the amount of space I have left, once you reach that place, it's going to just automatically restart. And that is like the actual idea that I want. Now, next thing you can see that, okay, so before we're seeing 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, all those seconds. But now, because of the size of our composition now, it has to reduce the scale. So instead of doing like every 1 second, show what's at every 1 second, it's showing show what's at every 2 seconds. So to change that, we can use this our navigation end here, and I can drag this inside to zoom into my timeline If I drag it out, I will zoom out. You can also use this place down here to either zoom into your timeline or zoom out of your timeline. That is the use of this thing down here. And let's say that after a while I don't want this my circle to show here. And what I can do for that is I'm just going to end my animation very, very early. And what I can do is that if you see this thing that's looking like teal, this teal is this blue, this cyan color here. Now this tells After Effects that it should show all these things that is here. Now if I come to the end here and I just drag that in like that, once it reaches this point, it disappears. Because I'm telling After Effects that anything after this point should disappear. So I can increase that to make it visible again. I can reduce that to take it away. So After Effects is just going to automatically leave all the control, everything in my hand. And that's why After Effects is amazing, because you can control every minute detail very, very well just by understanding what you're doing and how you're going to use your timeline. So let's say that I want after this my first ball bouncing here, this to disappear. Let's say this thing after it hits here like this is going to disappear. All I can just do is I can come to that my rectangle here and I can just close that up here. So it is a press back like this. Sorry, okay, I took it back too far. Like I said, you have to be sure what you're doing. And let's go like that. Let's check it out again. So as you can see, it just shuts off immediately after I bring it back to the place. Let's say it's here, I want it to shut off. Once it comes here, I hit it, the immediately cuts off just because I brought this to the back. So that is going to be like the first example that I'm going to show you guys how to do today. Let's jump to the second example very fast. And we can create a new composition. Let's say, I don't know, let's say 20 seconds. Okay. So let's create a new composition. So that's the first example I'm showing you guys. Let's go to the second example, control. So that's the first example I'm showing you guys. Let's go to the second example, command N. And I can just call this second. And this one, let's just change this to 5 seconds and hit OK. Now, for this one, we're going to use text. And let's come to this text bar here. There's like T. And I can just click this and I can just type in any text I want. I want to type Marvel. And I know you cannot see it because it's black, everything is black. And if you go to your character tab here, some of you are going to see it's in your properties tab, but it's going to be in the properties tab and the characters tab also. But people on older After Effects may not probably have to go to your character tab that's on this side. And you can actually change the color. Let's go to white. And this is what we are being seen like this. If you say you want to change your fonts, you can click here and let's look for a font that is actually better for this. Nope. I think it's like this. Okay, I think I like this like Reese Sports font. You can download it by yourself on the internet, wherever you get fonts from. And you can let's just reduce the line spacing like this using this VA here. So now another thing I can do is I can, as you can see, it's not aligned to the center of my composition, and I want this to always be in the middle of my composition. Let's say this thing is scattered, it's not here. So if I want to align the center of my composition, I can just come to this my align tab here, and you can see it's always aligned to composition. It's automatically selected for me. I can just click this middle here and click this other one here. Now you can see everything now has automatically adjusted into the center of my composition. if you want to actually check it at the center of your composition, you can use trigger, and you can just do a proportional grid here. It's just going to show you a grid line that shows you where everything is. And you can also do like title action save. It's just showing you the distance between here and here, and distance between here and here. And you can just roughly estimate that, yeah, this thing is actually at the center of my composition. And if your anchor point is at the middle also, you can just use your anchor point at the middle also to gauge if it's going to be in the center. And I can see anchor points here. You can see the center of our composition here. So it's very, very easy to actually put things into the center of the composition. Oh, let me now jump over that. Let's say I've zoomed in using Control Plus, or Command Plus if you're on Mac. I want to zoom out. You can also use Command Minus to zoom out. And let's say you have zoomed out a bit too much, or you have zoomed in a bit too much. You can also just click on this drop down here and go up to fit. Everything goes back to like normal. Everything just resets back to normal. Now I want to like put a video. Remember that video that I brought inside at the beginning? Let's say I want to put the video inside this our text here, and we're going to do something that is known as matting. So we're going to put the video as a mat into our text. So see our video here. Remember we put at the beginning of our animation, and I can just drag that and drop that into the composition like this. Now, After Effects works in layers. Whatever is on top is going to be shown first than whatever is on the bottom. So if I move this video up here, you can see you're seeing the video only, and you're not seeing the text. If I move the video down, you're seeing the text and you're not seeing the video. So After Effects works in layers. So yeah, sometimes when I import something, you're not seeing it. It's not because that there's something that's wrong with it. It's just because that your layering is actually not that good. So let's say I want to put this inside now, and you can see this point part of my screen here. And what I want to show you guys is that you can actually switch this part to do something else if you want. So if you come down here, you see toggle/switches, then /mode, toggle switches /modes. If I click on that, you can see whatever was here now has changed into something brand new. Now I can check that, and I can just come to this part that says track mat here. Let me make sure that it's visible. Can come to this part that says track mat here, and I can click this no mat here, and I'm going to make the track mat of this video to be the Marvel layer. And once I do that, you can see the video doesn't show anymore. Everything is now inside this Marvel text. So the next thing I'm going to do is let's scale that down, because the video is very, very, very big. So I can just carry the video now until it fits my text properly, and I can actually move the video around inside. So let's say I want it like this. Now, if you play it back, the video is literally playing inside the text, and I don't know, for some strange reason, it's not very, very bright. Let's say I want to add brightness. I want to make it more pronounced. I can come to my Effect and Preset tab here, and I'm just going to type in brightness. And I'm just going to put that on my video layer. Make sure you're putting it on your video layer. Now, if you come to see your project panel now, you can see that it has changed to something different now. Now, from here like this now, I can actually increase and reduce the brightness. So if I bump it up like this, you can see the brightness is actually increasing a bit. I can also increase the contrast if I want. I think something like this. Let's move this around so that more parts of this can have light. So now we have something now. It looks bright, it looks popping, it looks whatever you want to call it, and it's amazing. So let's add a little bit of an animation to this, because this will look like a title scene, or when they're starting a movie. I want it to look very, very cinematic and stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to animate the two layers as one. So how do we do that? We do that in a myriad of ways. What I can do is I can select these two like this. I can left click here, and I can go to pre-compose. So if I pre-compose the two layers, what that says is that, okay, these two layers, it's going to help me combine them into one layer. So it's going to move these two layers into another composition and just leave one general composition for me to be able to work on. Now, you can give the pre-composition a name. I can call the composition Marv and click on OK. Now you can see that it has shrunk the two composition into one. If I double click on this composition now, I can still like see my composition down here. And if I want to just jump between composition, I can just use this place here. For example, our first composition is still here. This is our second composition, and this is the pre-composition that is inside our second composition. If you want to close your pre-comps, you can just click on X here. So where was I? So I want to animate this thing. So what I want is that I want this the logo to be increasing size as time passes. So if I want to increase the size, what do I need? I need animation on the scale. So if I hit S on my scale here, I come to the beginning here, make a keyframe on my scale, can come to the end here, and I can just increase this like this. Okay, so now if you go back now and play it, you can see that it just a month. So now if you go back and play it, I can see that it's just much more cinematic. The video inside brings it more, and the scale up just makes it a little bit more intense. I think the video should not be this long. Let's go down to 3 seconds and let's just bring this in like this. Let's check it out again. Yeah, I think this is better. So you can see it's very, very simple to do. It's very, very easy. After Effects is not complex, you know, and you can do a lot of things with After Effects. You can create a lot. So now let's go to the final one, and I'm just going to call this one third and click on OK. So now for this, I want to show you guys how easy it is. Let's create a simple logo review. And what I'm going to do is, first of all, you can see that the background, there's nothing in the background. Normally, the background is just bland and boring and stuff. And in case you're like me and you keep on moving your this thing out of the way like this, you can use this hand tool here to just bring everything back to the center of your composition like this. If you're using the Apple mouse, you can just literally do it without thinking, because the top of the Apple mouse is trackpad. So what was I saying? Yeah. So if you check this our transparency tool here, because this is our turbo transparency, this just shows you if there's anything like at the back. This composition is basically transparent because there's nothing on the background. Why I've been seeing everything as black is that I have no turbo transparency on the other ones. By turbo transparency, there you can see how it looks. Now, let's say we want to actually create a background that we're going to use for animation. What you need to do is you have to create a solid. And how you create solid is Command Y. Now, this solid is just going to create something that's, you know, the size now is the size of your composition, 1920 by 1080. And you can change the color down here. Let's say I want red or something. I can click OK, and you have a red solid looking blinded. And if you want to change the color of your solid, you can hold Ctrl Shift and Y, and with that you can now change the color of your solid to something more useful and practical like this, and click on OK. Now let's say I want to create like an animation for Microsoft. Microsoft doesn't have a very complicated logo, so we can do something easy for them. Let's create the boxes. I think Microsoft has 4 boxes. Like I said, instead of me just creating another box, let's zoom in first. I can just literally duplicate this. Oh Jesus! I can just make sure I'm selected on the layer here, and I can duplicate it. Then I can move it this way. Let's see something like this. Select the tool, duplicate it, and I can just move those ones down like this also. Let's just make sure that the amount of space is okay. I think the space like this is okay. So now I can start changing the color. I think that one is blue for Microsoft. I think this one is going to be, is it red? Right? I think the one down here is yellow and the other one is green. Yeah, let's use green. So we have our Microsoft layers looking like this. Now you can also, for example, you can see all the anchor points are not in the middle. If I want to move all the anchor points in the middle, I can just come down here, hold down Shift and select all of them. And I can hit Control or Command and double click to move all the anchor points into the middle of our composition like that. Now I have to centralize these guys, and I can toggle my proportional grid. Let's go back. And the center is somewhere around here. Sorry, my bad. Let's zoom back in. Oh, Jesus. Why am I making a mistake? And let's move this inward like this. So let's zoom in. Now it has to be equal distance. So I can just use this to align it like this. So you can see that everything is, I don't think it's properly aligned up to now. Let's move this way a little bit more. Yeah. And I think like this is okay. Yeah, like this is okay. So what I'm going to do for this animation now, also we are going to do a combination of animating the shapes, and we're also going to be animating a text. We're going to animate the Microsoft text. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select this my shape layer here, and I can also select all of them at the same time. So if I want to apply, let's say I want to apply the same kind of animation in every of the shapes, I can always animate all of them at the same time. But for the first thing I want to do, first of all, is I want to animate like their scale and their rotation. So if I click S, you can see their scale property will come up. If I click Shift and R, you can see their scale and their rotation has come up together. So let's say click the scale and click the rotation. But now let's say I want the scale and rotation to be like this after like the first 1 second. So I can just select all these my keyframes that I've made here, and I can just move it to 1 second here. So it's very, very simple. All the keyframes now have been moved to 1 second. The beginning keyframes now, I want to just reduce their scale. So let's do it on 1 so that it will be easy for us to see. Let's go to this like shape layer 2 here. And at the beginning here, I want their scale to be, let's say, at 30%. Yep. So you can see it's at 30% here. And I want their rotation to be like rotate. I want it to rotate in place. So I can just come to this my rotation here. You know, if you rotate your shape beyond 360 degrees, it becomes a -1. For those of you that do not like math, I'm sorry. But now like this, so that it can always be like back to the center here. I can just, instead of me just rotating it and guessing where it's going to be straight, I can just always just come here and change this forward thing here into a -1. And now I know that before it comes back here, it has made one whole rotation. So you can see, very, very simple. So I can just select the remaining of them because it's basically the same animation I'm going to be doing for both of them. And I can put a -1 here. And I can change all their scales down to 30. Now, if you watch it back, you can see that the animation goes from this to this very, very fast. And it's looking very good actually. But now I think it's happening too slow. And what I say about slowness, if you want to increase the slowness, you have to bring these two closer together. So that's what I want. I want it to happen a lot faster than where it was before. So it's not fast, it's not hard. It's very, very simple. And if around this point you're thinking, oh my God, I've missed something, it's confusing, I'll advise you to go back, watch the beginning parts of the video again, and just come back here. This video, that's why it's recorded, so you can watch at your own time and go at your own pace. Everybody is not the same. So now we have this, and it has scaled up. I was like, wow, that is amazing. I like this. This is amazing. Somewhere are good. But now like this, let's say I want to add more to this animation. Let's say this animation is not enough for me. I want to add more movement and more stuff like that. Let's say after this thing comes up here like this now, I want the four of them now to move this way. And I'm going to use that now to reveal their text. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait a little bit after the animation here, let's say somewhere around here, where the animation have actually finished now. And now I want to move, change their position over time. Let's say I want to add the text of the company. I need to spell it Microsoft. Like that. Let's change the color to black. And let's get a more professional font like Helvetica. And click on that. And I can give it a little bit more space back. Okay. I think this is too big, so I can also reduce the scale of the Microsoft like this. Okay, I think this is okay. This is perfect. Now let's say I want to just end the animation with this Microsoft beside the logo. But now you're saying that okay, the logo is in the middle, but these two of them are not in the middle. So I have to actually make a way for this Microsoft text to enter the frame and also move this to the side so that everything can just be in the middle of my compilation. How do I do that? Okay, let's say after this thing finish animating this way, I can just wait for 2, 3, let's just like a little bit of time. That's like somewhere like here. Then I can now move this one to this side. So what I can do is I can select everything that I used to animate all these my shape layers here, and I can pre-compose them. And I call these shapes. Yeah. And I can just click on that. So now you can see that all the layers now have been reduced to one particular layer. There are other ways to do this, but I'm just teaching you guys the easiest way. So now let's say after here, this is where I want my movement to start from. So I can open up the position property for this. And with the position property, I want the After Effects to know that at this point in time here, this is where I want it to start moving from. And this is the point where I want it to move from. So I'm going to create a keyframe to hold this point in time down. Let's say at 1 second here, I want this thing to have moving. I say, is it moving? Moving the right word. All these things have moved to the back somewhere like here. So I'm going to just position this Microsoft beside it in a way I think that is going to work like this. But now, is this in the middle? Let's check my title action save. You can see from this title action save that it's like the word is leaning too much to one of this side than the other side. So I can just move this back a little bit and readjust my position accordingly. So I think like this is actually at the center of my composition. But you now find the problem that, okay, now it's looking like this. My Microsoft text is just disturbing my animation. What is going to happen? And that is where we have to start talking about okay, if I reduce this thing from here and bring it back here, you can see after it finished moving, that's when the Microsoft now comes up. Because I've told After Effects, okay, don't show this thing until this point in time, right? Yeah. But now I say, okay, no, I want to give myself more strength. I'll become more fancy. I say, okay, I want to add a transition that will make this thing come from this place as it's moving. Because if you look at it, you can see that my shape is moving this way. But it would be good if my Microsoft tool can move from the back of the shape, but not disturb the shape. You understand? I say, okay, no problem. I come to this point and my position ends here. My position keyframe for this my shape ends, and I can say, okay, let me make another keyframe here. Cool. I've put another keyframe. I can now move back to the front here where this thing is here, and I say, okay, let's just move it to the back. Now, if you play back now, you can see, okay, the two of them are moving, but the two of them now are interrupting each other. They are disturbing each other. One is in the front of the other one, and it's not actually fine, because what I used to see online, people don't used to be fine. Like I say, okay, let's pre-compose this layer, and we're going to do something interesting, and it's called masking. Now, masking is just telling After Effects, hide this part of this thing. So this beginning here, where this Microsoft is in front of this thing, I don't want to see it. After Effects, hide it for me. I just want to let it to be like it's just coming from the back of this thing. Like, okay, no problem. Let's go there. And how you create mask is by using a shape tool. Now, to create a mask, you need to be clicking on what you want to create a mask on. Now, I can click on my mask here, and if I draw a mask now around this Microsoft here, like this, let's just increase it a bit like this, you can see that the Microsoft still shows somewhere a layer width, but you can see that when it moves now like this, is the part, anything that's after this part now is disappearing. Like, okay, that's cool. What I can do now is that if I say, okay, everything that's after the mark is going to disappear, good and fine, I can always invert the marks. So now I've inverted the marks. Everything that's in front of these marks now is disappeared. Anything that's after the marks now is visible. Good and fine. But now I come to another problem. Sam, it's all good and fine when it's at the beginning here, but when you move down here like this now, it's the marks doesn't move with it. So your marks is just in one place, so it's still hiding it. So that's why I'm telling you that After Effects is amazing. You can control literally every single aspect of your marks. So if you open up marks here, you can see marks 1, that is your marks here. If you open up something that is called marks path, and that is where the marks is. That is the path of the marks. So what you can do is that at the beginning here, okay, it's perfect. It's covering everything at the beginning here. On my marks partner, I can make a keyframe on my marks part, and I can just move down to where my marks ends, and I can just drag this, holding down shift. I can just drag this back like this. So let's play back again so you can see. Very, very simple, very, very easy. If you guys don't seriously understand this, you can actually reach out to me after the class. I'll be available to hear your complaints, your everything, and walk you through it if you have a problem with like anything that you're seeing like this. So that is amazing. You guys have seen it. It's very, very easy and it's not hard. Now let's take it a bit further. You know me, I have a lot of problems. And like say, okay, this is good and fine like this. Let's make it a bit more, sophisticated, So if you want to make it a bit more sophisticated, what you have to do is, let's say I want to add an effect on the two of them. I can pre-compose these 2 layers also. So I'm literally pre-composing a pre-composition. So you can pre-compose these 2 layers here, and I can call it grand pre-comp. Click on OK. And for this one now, I'm going to my effect and preset panel, and I'm going to find an effect called CC Light Sweep. You can see down here, CC Light Sweep. And I'm just going to apply it to my pre-composition. And if you look down here, you can see there's something like a light that is hitting your S like this, and that's what it's going to be. Now, you can use this your center here to move the light to where the light hits to any part of this thing that you want. I think you're seeing what I want to do now. So let's say I'm here. I want to just do a little bit of like arrangement for my light sweep, I can increase the width, and I can also change the shape to smooth, so that it's like more of like a broad light on everything, because I like this very, very much. So now, let's say at the point that my animation has finished here, now I say I want to add my light sweep or whatever. Okay, let's say around here, I want to add my light sweep. Now I can make a keyframe on this center here and say, at this center position at the beginning, I don't want you to be anywhere near this thing, because I want the light sweep to just swoosh across it. Now I can come to around somewhere like here, and I can just drag it the opposite way. So if you want to see, or if you want to see your keyframes, if you hit U on your keyboard, if you click on wherever you're working on and hit U, you're going to see the keyframes that I've actually created. So let's play it back now. You can see that, okay, from here, it's at this point and it's just going to swoosh across like this. So it's really, really amazing, and it's just amazing when you're learning After Effects. I wish I can exchange, and I'm just learning After Effects right now. It's going to be so much fun. And it's amazing. There's nothing hard in After Effects. It's just you. And maybe you have been panicking about it since, or maybe you have been thinking about starting After Effects. This is basically almost everything that After Effects is. So if I go forward, these 3 animations that I did today is going to be your assignment. And please don't just copy my After Effects project file, because I'll make it available and just export it and give me back. No, I want to see your progress. I want to see the mistakes you're going to make, because I'm going to be correcting your mistake individually. That'll be the first thing I'm going to be doing next week, Monday. So please, I want you guys to finish this assignment before Sunday, so that it'd be easy for me to just come online and get your assignments and correct you before we move into what we have to do for Monday. So that is just the basic thing, guys. Please get it to me before, or not before Sunday, so that it'll be easy for us, so we can move to better things. And I know that you guys actually are understanding this coursework. So the next thing I'm going to show you guys is how to export your videos. And to do that is very, very simple. You just need to go to file, and you see export here. Now you can export it to media encoder if you have media encoder, and you can also export it to like a render queue. And I'm going to be showing you guys render queue, because render queue comes inbuilt with like After Effects and stuff. Now you can see that it just takes the composition that you are on, and it brings you to this whole other menu. And from this menu now, you can change a lot of things. Your render settings on the best settings. And if you see your output module, some of you now will be exporting as MOV, and that is not the best. You can come down here and change your format to H264. And this is going to be the best thing for you, to just come and click on this output module here. Open this up and find where you see H.264 or like this, and just click on it. And for format option, you can just use hardware encoding or software encoding depending on the make and model of your system, and you click on OK. So the output to now is just going to be where your video is going to be saved. So if we click on it like this now, you're just going to direct it to the folder that I want it to be saved. So I want it to be saved in this folder. I cannot hit save here, and when I hit render, it's going to render everything perfectly well, no lapses, no anything, and your videos are going to come out crisp, and it's going to look clean.